Hello, Husky Nation. Welcome to Beyond the Bench, a weekly series where we sit down with each of our head coaches here at Bloomsburg University to get thoughts about their program, themselves, and what it means to be a Husky. This week's episode is sponsored by Service Electric. We would like to thank them and the rest of our corporate sponsors for their continued support of Husky athletics. I'm Dave Leisering, Sports Information Director here at Bloomsburg. Today's guest on Beyond the Bench is the head coach of the Huskies women's lacrosse program, Shannon Hertz. Shannon, I know you've been looking forward to this. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to join me here today.
I've been counting down the days, Dave. I will tell you that.
I know. I've gotten a lot of text messages, so. So first off, Shannon, good news so far from the PSAC as they announced recently that we're still planning on moving forward with spring sports for the upcoming season. It's been a whirlwind of emotions for you and the program. So how are you able to keep your team motivated over these last several months?
I mean, to be honest, like you said, it's been a crazy little journey that we've been on. I think that they're actually extremely self-motivated in the fact that our season was taken away from us. It was devastating. And I think, working towards this season, they just want to get back on the field and they want to play. So for me, as keeping them motivated, I really haven't had to do much. It's more about trying to get our team to be connected, stay connected. My fall is normally, the time that we do a lot of team bonding things. So this whole not being able to be around each other has, made things difficult, but we've been trying to think outside the box. I mean, you've probably heard from all the other coaches, Zoom is our best friend now. So we've done team meetings on Zoom. I've had the girls in accountability groups, which is something we've done in the past over the summer, where they're in groups of 5 or 6. And basically they just check in with each other. Hey, I got a great workout in today. What are you guys doing? Just to keep in touch, but also, hey, I'm working out. What are you doing? To keep yourself accountable. And so we've kept that going throughout the fall semester and been switching up the accountability groups so that they're actually communicating and talking with a lot of the other girls on the team, because we do have a lot of freshmen this year. So trying to get them to have some sort of connection and, be able to communicate. The other thing that I've done this year that we haven't done before is have what we call our little and our big. So a senior has been assigned a freshman basically to check in on them and make sure that they're adjusting all right to, college and being at Bloomsburg. And, although the seniors haven't gone through this Bloomsburg that we're currently going through, they've been there. So they understand the stresses of being a freshman and the adjustment period. So we've done that. We've also, I do my academic meetings with the girls via Zoom, to check in with them and make sure that they're doing well in the classroom and getting help if they need it. Usually I do them a couple times a semester, with our freshmen being this all online and really not being able to check in with them every day. I've been doing them a lot more often just to make sure that they're adjusting well, and getting the help that they need. We have decided this year to start a journal that we're passing through the team, where, the first person that started, one of our players came up with the idea, Angela, who is returning for her 5th season. We're very thankful for that. But the journal to basically, you put in things about yourself, your favorite quotes, whatever you really want to, and then you pass it on to the next person on the list, just so that we can start to get to know each other. I've been using social media as much as possible to, get to know the team from a distance. We've done our this or that, or, just what they're majoring in, but just so that they can see a face, put a name to it, and maybe learn a couple things about, their teammates.
Yeah, we've definitely noticed the social media presence has been phenomenal for your program ever since you really came on board, but it really took off these last few months for sure. So Shannon, you played at nearby Lock Haven, then served as an assistant coach for 2 seasons there, enjoying tremendous success while you were on the coaching staff, before moving on to Catholic University. So how did the years at Lock Haven help prepare you for becoming a head coach here in the PSEC and here at Bloomsburg University?
Obviously, being in the PSAC, you get to know the type of competition that you're coming up against. So getting familiar with that, every single game you have to show up and bring your A game. It doesn't matter what team you're playing. Obviously, we have the stronger teams that our girls always get really hyped for, but they have to understand that every single game is the biggest game of our season. They'll be on the bus ride home and, they're checking scores and they'll be like, did you see this upset? And I always have to tell them, there's no upsets because any team can win on any given day. And every year we have that happen. So I think being at Lock Haven helped me prepare me in that way, just coming in that it was going to be competitive. And I think that is something that was good for me to help prepare the team. And also just recruiting wise, we recruit against Lock Haven a lot. So just knowing the type of kids that I wanted to bring in, that I was going to be able to bring in location wise. I mean, we recruit out of the Philly area, a lot out of New Jersey, New York, and some Maryland, but basically I'm recruiting similar kids. So I definitely think that helped. Not just Lock Haven, I got a lot of great experiences there, but when I was at Catholic, I think that also helped prepare me because Catholic University is in DC. It helped me realize that I am not a city person. So coming to Bloomsburg, it really was a great fit for me. Also, Catholic is Division III. And it made me realize as a head coach, I wanted to be at Division II. It was just the right fit for me as not just a player, but as a coach. And I think it took going there to make me realize that this is where I belonged. But also at Catholic, she was such a great mentor. So I learned a lot and felt really prepared coming into Bloomsburg.
You're entering your 7th season now as the head coach of the women's lacrosse team. So what actually led to your decision to take over the team?
I was a stay-at-home mom. I coached at Catholic until I was, I think, 8 months pregnant with my first son. And, I wanted to have a family. That was first and foremost for me. I knew if coaching was meant to happen, it would happen. But I wanted to have a family. So we had our first son and my husband and I decided that we would just continue pursuing having our family. And we had our second son a year later. But, I'm not going to lie. I constantly was checking job openings on the IWLCA website and NCAA market. Just to see if anything came up that I'd be interested in. And I think it was a lot with timing. All coaches kind of had their spots of where they were going to be. And, I continued to check, and Bloomsburg popped up the one day. And I said to my husband, I was like, I think I want to go for it. And he fully supported me. And he said to me, and probably get mad that I say this, but he said, you're a better coach than I am a teacher, because he was teaching at the time. So, with his support and the support of my family, I went for it. And luckily enough, here I am 7 years later. Feels like yesterday, but I'm still happy to be here.
That's awesome. So you alluded to this a little earlier. You have 15, by my count, new faces on this year's roster. Was that kind of your target number going into the recruiting season? And what can we expect from some of those new faces this year?
Well, as far as the number goes, I always struggle with that. I usually give myself a range of kids that I would like to bring in. So the senior class that I have lost this past year, I had brought in 13. So I was kind of in that 10 to 14 range. And for me, it's really just about finding the kids that are the right fit. Like, they want me to want them. I want them to want us. And I ended up with 15 this year because I think, they all bring something to the table, and they all are going to contribute in one way or the other. This year, they're going to bring a lot of new energy, which is really exciting. We have to remember, we didn't lose our season last year. They also lost their senior year of playing lacrosse. So I think they're ready. I think they're excited. They're eager to learn. We did get to practice a little bit this fall, and it was just wide eyes, let's go. And every single day, at the end of practice, they'd be like, oh, that was great. And I'm like, it wasn't anything spectacular that we did, but they're just so excited to be back playing lacrosse. So I'm looking forward to, some of them coming in and contributing right away. Others I think are going to fight for time. But with 15 new faces, it's going to be a lot of learning and a lot of growing. But I think that their love for lacrosse and excitement to be at Bloomsburg, it's going to be great. And I mean, it has been thus far, and we've only had a couple weeks of practice. So it's just keeping them motivated over the winter break and coming back ready to go, as long as we have the green light.
I know everybody loves this question, but how would you describe your coaching philosophy, and who's had the greatest impact on your coaching style?
Yes, I love this question. Recruits sit in your office and they ask it, and I kind of tell them the truth, which is my coaching style is always evolving. I've learned early on from a coach that I had, she said, you kind of have to change with your team, and you have to change what you're doing with the different generations. And so that kind of stuck with me. So I like to believe that my main thing as a coach is I try to be positive. I try to create an environment where I'm empowering them to empower each other. I tell myself with every critique I give to try to say 3 positives, just because I think that a lot of times the players get to me, and sometimes they're so afraid to drop a ball. And that's because of previous coaches that they've had. So my team will hear me say, I'm okay with you dropping the ball. It's what you do afterwards that really matters. So, as long as we're going hard through it. So really it's all about work ethic, that I tried to first and foremost get the team to realize that's what I care about. We'll fix the mistakes, but if you're holding back, we don't know your limits. So, I really try to encourage them to just really work hard, be positive in the process of it. And if your teammate drops the ball, tell her it's cool. You got the next one. And I think that since I've got here, you can really see the culture has changed as far as that. I'm not going to lie. There's days where they need to be yelled at or pushed. And so, on those days, that's what they'll get from me. And on days that they're super stressed and exams are coming up and they're really sore from lift, I take that into consideration, and maybe we have a shorter practice, or we have a funner practice, or we do a lot more stick work, because I think it's really important that they also know that I care about how they're feeling and what's going on in their everyday life, because they don't just play lacrosse. They go to school full time. They have family, they have friends. So I try to really be respectful of their time as well. But when you're here with me, we're going to work. And so that's kind of the message I give to my team all the time. I give them what they need when they need it. And sometimes they don't like that. Sometimes it's good for them and that's what they need. So I want them to continue to get better and to learn. As a coach, I'm doing the same thing. Like I constantly in the hallways will bounce ideas off other coaches, other colleagues at other schools about what they're doing, because I want to continue to get better. Our team has seen more success, but we're not there yet. So that means I still need to continue to grow. And I think that's an important message that I understand if that's what I want them to do as well.
Is there anybody in particular that's had an impact on your coaching style?
I think I've pulled from all the people that I've ever, either teammates that I've worked with or coaches that I've coached with. Coaching is just stealing great ideas from other coaches and then trying to make it your own. For me, obviously, being at Lock Haven, working for Kristen Selvage, and then at Catholic with Megan McDonough, those two were a huge part of my coaching style and evolving it. But I mean, you can go back as far as just coaches I played for growing up, just the lessons that I learned along the way. My parents, I think they have really instilled a lot of things that I use today, just being a good teammate, being, positive, always working hard, giving it your all. We learn through failure. So those are the types of lessons that, I've learned along the way that I try to pass along to my players.
So we mentioned, the big recruiting class this year. What are some of the selling points you use to bring those student athletes here to Bloomsburg?
Well, and it's funny because on my interview 7 years ago, I can't believe that, I was in the room with coaches and I said, what is the thing that brings kids to Bloomsburg? And I believe it was Susan Coker who said, I get them to campus and they fall in love with campus. And it's kind of been that way for me too. I want the kids to want Bloomsburg, like I had said before. So, they step on campus and they feel at home. Our campus is the first big sell. My second big sell is my team. My team is very welcoming. They're such a great group of individuals. I have my junior days that I bring juniors to campus, and I spend probably 15 minutes with them in the morning and I send them off with a team. They go to class with the girls, they go to lunch, they get a tour from admissions, and then they come back up to the field house and we do a Q&A. Again, I'm not in there. It's the girls just telling them about their experiences. And I say to them, tell them the good, the bad, the ugly, because I want them to understand what Bloomsburg lacrosse is and what it's like to be a student athlete. And so they do. And, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to know what they say, but I think it's good for the recruits coming in to really know what it's going to be like to be a part of the team. And, it's a lot of fun, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. And then I meet with them at the end of the day, and usually the girls have answered all the questions for the recruits. So they pretty much do my job for me. So thanks, guys. But yeah, it really is the campus. And then I think my team that is what, attracts recruits to be a part of the Bloomsburg lacrosse family.
So your team was off to a great start before COVID hit. So what can we expect from the Huskies as we anticipate moving forward with the spring here in 2021?
I think I said it before that, we had our season taken away from us and it was devastating. And so the one thing I know that my team will do is they will play every day like it's their last, because they know what that feels like. And so they're not going to take anything for granted. They're going to work hard. They're going to, give me everything and, enjoy every second of it. Again, the good, the bad, the ugly, they're going to enjoy it because it was so hard when all of a sudden it was taken away from us, and hard practices, they've even said, they're like, that run was really hard, but we got to do it today. Like, I'm excited. The talent's there. I'm hoping that everything comes together and we'll have enough time to get through everything in the spring before we actually start playing. I'm just excited because this team's really special to me. I think I have, like I said before, a great group of individuals who love lacrosse and they love Bloomsburg. And I think they're going to represent us in such a great way this year. So I'm hoping to get them where they need to be and then sit back and hopefully watch. And I think we could do some really good things this year.
And we're looking forward to it as well, and keeping our fingers crossed that we can continue to move forward. So now the fun part, Shannon. Let's get to know you, the person, a little bit. Did you have any favorite sports teams growing up?
Well, I'm from Boyertown, Pennsylvania, so that's the Philly-ish area, and we continue to support all Philadelphia sports here. My husband's from Lansdale, so Eagles, Phillies, even when we don't want to be their fans, we are their fans at their worst, but that's what a real fan is. So I definitely would have to say all of the Philly teams.
And any sports role models that you had, or any favorite athletes that you followed?
For me, sports role models really are the people that I've been taught by. And so the role models for me that really stand out are my 3 lacrosse coaches that I had in high school. So Marsha Brumbach, Doug Deischer, and Pam Wernersbach, who's still actually coaching there now, because I didn't start lacrosse until 10th grade. And so for me, they basically introduced lacrosse to me and I fell in love with it, just the fast pace of the game. Doug Deischer, who worked in our junior high, every day he would see me, my maiden name is Hauk, and he'd say, Hauk, you can play basketball, you can play lacrosse. And he coached at the high school. So he actually coached football, boys basketball, and then girls lacrosse. And so he just every day was on me about it because I had played softball up until that point. And so I just fell in love with it the first time I played it. I couldn't catch. That was something I had to get better at. Once I picked it up, I never put a stick down. I played basketball and field hockey as well, but I was like, if I can go to college and play lacrosse, this is what I want to do. Those 3 had such an impact on me, just pushing me. And and the other thing is their coaching styles were so different, but it just also showed me there's no right way to coach, that you can gain something from different individuals. Marsha Brumbach, she was amazing and broke lots of barriers and really taught me a lot just about the sport of lacrosse, and same thing with Pam Wernersbach, and Doug Deischer, who coached the football team and the boys basketball. He treated every athlete the same, and I love that. And my brother actually played basketball for him. So I don't know. It was just those 3 are the reason that I'm here today. So I guess they would have to be my sports role models.
That's awesome. Favorite movie?
My favorite movie?
Yes.
Well, I don't want to say I'm a movie buff because I'm not, but I watch a lot of movies. Obviously, love any cheesy sport movie like that makes me get chills up and down the arms. Like I love Remember the Titans, um, Invictus, Miracle. All of those I love, but I also am a sucker for a mystery thriller. So that's something that I enjoy, as well as your happy-go-lucky rom-coms.
All right. Little bit all over the place, right?
Yes.
So your favorite food?
Favorite food, I would have to go with real pizza. And a team favorite too, which I really love, is Chipotle.
Okay.
It's a good one.
Yeah, love Chipotle. So favorite musician or band?
So I listen to all types of music. Finding just one, I'd rather pick a genre. So I'm going with 90s alternative.
Okay.
My husband hates it. I love it.
Okay. So Green Day type?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
that takes me right back.
That's perfect. Perfect. So if you could meet anyone, past or present, living or dead, who would it be?
So I guess I would have to say Phil Collins.
Love it.
Big fan, big fan. Or Will Smith. I just think that he's got great energy, and I wouldn't mind hanging out with him for a little bit.
I love the fact that you're just all over the map. That's phenomenal.
No, I am. It's who I am, Dave.
I love it. I love it. And then so we alluded to it a little bit before, but if you could name the best thing about Bloomsburg University, what would it be?
For me, it feels like home. I mean, I love the town. I love our campus. I love the type of student athletes I get to work with. When alumni comes back, they're so excited to be back. And, a lot of my players will say that this is their second home. So for me, it's just, you tell athletes all the time when they're looking for schools, you need to find the right fit. And for me, it's the right fit. So I just think that I really don't have one specific. It just feels right.
Shannon, I know you were dreading doing this, but
I love
you did a great job, and we really appreciate you taking a few minutes out, and we're looking forward to getting back on the field here in a couple of months.
Same. Thanks, Dave.
Head coach Shannon Hertz of the Bloomsburg University Women's Lacrosse Program. We'd like to thank Husky Nation for tuning in to Beyond the Bench. Yes, that is Shannon Hertz. You should see her on the sidelines. She does. It's awesome. We'd like to thank Husky Nation for tuning in to Beyond the Bench. Join us again next week as we will visit with another Huskies head coach. We'd also like to thank once again Service Electric for sponsoring today's episode. For information on everything Huskies, visit our website at buhuskies.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Dave Leisering. We'll see you next week on Beyond the Bench. Have a great day, and go Huskies.